Hello, hello everybody. We are here today, and today is special because I am going to talk about Sufism, and to resume in a few words is back to love. We are going to surrender to love. We are going to learn about Sufism, and we are going to talk about one of the most important Sufi teachers, Rumi. So I have the pleasure, I have been preparing this week this brief introduction about Sufism and Rumi, and I hope you enjoy it. I have to say that I am not an expert on Sufism. I have been reading books, I have been in a couple of workshops about Sufism, but I am not an expert. So what I am going to teach or to talk today is just an introduction. So saying this, we are going to start today. So we are going to start with one quote from one of the poems of Rumi, and it says, "There is somewhere you are meant to be. It is here, now, in this moment." Rumi. So as always, we need to cleanse ourselves, to do a bit of healing, to prepare ourselves for the guided meditation, visualization. And because today we are talking about Sufism, we are going to call it purification. So please close your eyes, sit down comfortable or lay down. That we are going to be aware of our breathing. Today, I am going to ask you not just to breathe in and breathe out. Just let it be. Be in the presence. Be in your presence. And just aware of your natural breathing. Feel how your body is going to start relaxing. Your mind is going to be a little bit more quiet, because we are going to focus today in ourselves and in love, as I said. So be in your presence. This time is for you, just for you, for your body, your mind, and your soul. And feel how your shoulders, your arms, your hands are more relaxed. Your internal organs, your legs, your feet, your toes. Feel the oxygen going to all your cells, restoring, healing, and purifying. And when we are relaxed in our own presence, it's easy for our crown chakra to be open and to receive the divine energy from the universe. And activating your energy body, your ethereal body, your aura. Now put your hands in your heart and feel it. Your heart, your soul, the spiritual being that you are, your flame. And as the Sufi said, we need to polish it, we need to cleanse it. Sometimes we need to remember this because the everyday life, our worries, our mind. So now it's time to polish it, to let it go things that they are not useful anymore for us. And feel that you are part of the universe and your heart, your soul is connected. And from here, we are always in a high vibration. Very good. I think we are already there. We did the purification and we are now in a high vibration to absorb the teachings of the wisdom of Sufism. And of course, to explore the poems of Rumi. So first of all, I am going to explain what is Sufism. Sufism is the mystic part of Islam. It's a kind of ascetic monastery orders or groups that for thousands of years, they have been seeking for the divine wisdom. As we did just now, we just purified ourselves, and purification is something very important in the Islam in Sufism. As we know, they do ablutions 5 days per day. So when they purify the inner self, it's easy to focus in spirituality. So Sufism, we can say it has to be more with spiritualism, and Islam is more with the books called religion. In the Islam, there are many laws, rules like any other religions to be good humans and to win the paradise when we die after the judgment day. But in Sufism, the purpose is to embrace the divine in this life. Why to wait until we die so we can experiment it now? So why they give so much importance in the purity and the purification? Because they believed that when we were born, we were innocent, we were pure energy, we were love. So we need to come back to this state of purity, of innocence. And in Arab, it's called fitra. In Sufism, the figure of the teacher is very important because our ancestors, they were learning from people, from different teachers. There were no organized schools or universities like now, as it is happening still in the Arab country. You go to the special schools or monasteries or temple to learn the religion or the spirituality. However, in Sufism, the transmission of the divine light from the teacher's heart to the student is more important than the knowledge, the worldly knowledge. So I repeat, it's more important what the energy of the teacher can activate to the students, the rather to feed the brain with so much knowledge. But if you are not one with yourself, what did you learn? And how the Sufis, they try to be embracing love, the divine love all the time, how they remember, because basically Sufism is about remembrance, to remember that we are God, that we are the divine. So as any other religions, they use different techniques, like the repetition of divine names or quotes from the Quran. Like in Buddhism or in Hinduism, we have mantras. In Arab, in Sufism, it's called dhikr or sikh. Sorry about my pronunciation. So is if you repeat something and you make your mind be aware of the repetition of something or a concept, is what you think you become. Rumi again. This kind of practices varies in different orders. As I said at the beginning, the Sufi orders, they are very monastic or they are very ascetic, but varies about culture, religions, countries, it varies. As you know, in life, nothing is black or white. So they have ceremonies, rituals based on recitation, as I said, mantras. It can be silent, it can be loud, it can be singing, instrumental music, dancing with incense, meditation, trance and ecstasy is very important. So many of these techniques, they took you to the trance, to the ecstasy. And as the Sufi said, what is important is to be intoxicated with love. They talk metaphorically, and Rumi writes beautifully, and he said, I want to be intoxicated. Intoxicated with love, with unconditional love, with unconditional trust. Rumi was, after I will talk about him a bit later, but I want to mention now that because we are talking about these different techniques, the dirk. So as you know, as you see probably many pictures about the dervishes, the dancers that they go around and around with long skirts. So they make this beautiful effect. And the dervishes is a Sufi order coming from Turkey. And it was Rumi was the pioneer. It was the innovator because he realized that it was more important, you know, to feel the love, to be in trance and in ecstasy, rather than again and again going to the holy scriptures and learning the wisdom. So you have to feel it. It's not just learning, it's feeling. And again, we are saying about feeling the love. And later, maybe you want to explore this, you can watch in Google different dervish dances, and you will see that this dervish is going around and around. Yes, is like the dance of the planets. And what they are trying is to be from death to life. Because again, I have to say, remember us, to remember that we are alive, to remember that we can connect with the divine love, with God in this life. And also there are numerous Sufi orders with women. There has been a long history, Sufi women teachers. And as well, you can explore that. And because maybe you are asking, because all the time I am doing workshops about the sacred feminine or about the goddess, different goddesses, different traditions, why today I choose to talk about Sufism and Rumi? Because it's part of the sacred feminine. It's like Sufism, it has to be with the feminine, with the divine feminine. The nature of the feminine is inclusive. The feminine, we have the sense we can relate with everything. And sometimes it's a burden because we relate and we are empathic with everybody, with everything. But this is why we need the masculine side, the sacred masculine, to separate, this, to put boundaries, basically. And I am saying that because I am talking about the sacred feminine and sacred masculine now. That is different than talking about women and men. I am not talking about gender. Sufism is above gender or anything. As I said, Sufism is to be in love with God, with the goddess, with the divine, to be intoxicated. And to achieve that, we need to work with our feminine side and our masculine side. But of course, both the masculine side and the feminine side complement each other. The feminine always symbolized as the vessel, as the Holy Grail, is the inner space between shadows and light, like the High Priestess in the Tarot. So this is sometimes in our life, we need to be with our inner self to give us this space between shadows and lights and to understand our unconscious. But sometimes as well, we need to finish something, to separate. And here it comes the masculine, the sacred masculine, symbolized as the sword and the vessel. And again, I had to, coming back to the Sufism, we have to say that in Christianity, even in Judaism, they teach us that we are children of God. For Sufism, is no, we are not children of God. We are Him. We are the goddess. We are not children of the goddess. We are the goddess. We are her. Because again, Sufism is about embracing the divine here and now in this life. And all these things Rumi understood them perfectly. And he learned about Sufism in a hard way. Rumi, that he was a man of the 13th century. The 13th century was very interesting century along history. It was the Crusades. There were many things happening between Orient and Western and Orient. Yes, Rumi was a poet. He was born in Persia. He was an Islamic scholar. He was a theologian, and of course, he was a Sufi mystic. But before he was a Sufi mystic, he was an Islamic scholar. He was a sheikh. He was a teacher. He was recognized in his community for his integrity. And he was very good. He was very responsible. He was following the laws and the duties and the 5 ways of life of the Islam. So he was recognized. So he has the knowledge, he has the integrity. And what happened? And when he was in the middle age, a teacher appeared, a Sufi teacher appears, but he was very particular, this teacher. He was a kind of trickster. So Rumi, he was being tested by this teacher in many ways. So it's like Rumi was in his box, like an Islamic scholar, and he learned that at the end of the day, you need the wisdom and you need the practice. But what is more important is feeling the divine. A person can say, oh, I believe in God. Okay, so what you are telling me that you believe in God, you have to experience it. You have to feel it. And again, when I am saying about God, is a way to say it because as well, in Islam is the creator. Okay? So Rumi, after learning this hard test for 3 years, he transcended. He was feeling the love. He said to his students, it's time to dance. And the students, they were perplexed. What is he talking? We need to study the Quran. No, it's time to enjoy. It's time to dance with the universe, flowing. So in this period, Rumi wrote his famous books of poems that now the quote all the time we are using self-help or as a remembrance. So he's telling us, I am what I am. And he is talking as well like about the ego, you know, about the mind, about this part of ourselves that we want to be someone, that we are forcing everything to be somebody important in the society. And Rumi said, if we take off the ego, of course, there is a hole. So we should fill it with love. And Rumi said as well, if we try to finish the ego, like closing a door, it will appear through a window or from a small hole in the door. So this is the ego. So we and Sufism as well, they say about alienation of the ego, elimination of the ego, but at the end is to be intoxicated by love. So the ego is going to be there all the time, but we need to remember that we are something else than the ego. We are love. And Rumi said that one of the things that block us with the ego is that we should seek for respect and recognition from the beloved, not from people. So if you do something, do it for respect and recognition to the divine, not expecting recognition from the people, expectations. So the teachings of Rumi become as a second Quran, and it still is happening now. There are of course more Sufi teachers, but today we are focusing in Rumi. And I need to mention now Llewellyn Bowen Lee. That is one of the new Sufis, that he was a hippie boy in London. He becomes a Sufi. Now he's a scholar in California, and he's an expert in Sufism, and he talks about the sacred feminine of Sufism as well. But for him, talking about the ego and the self, he gives the importance of the dirk. The dirk we said about the practice, repeating the mantras or any technique that help us to be intoxicated with the divine love. Because he said the dirk, the mantras, the dancing, the singing, charged with the energy of the self, works in the unconscious and free us from conditioning, and it can dissolve anxiety and fears. So I recommend this author. It's called Llewellyn Bowen Lee, and his book Sufism, The Transformation of the Heart, and you can watch him as well in YouTube. For the people who are listening to me in Facebook, I can write down later the name of this author, or this Sufi teacher. It's better to be Sufi teacher. One of the poems, Rumi said, I am no Muslim, I am no Jewish, I am no Christian, I am no Persian, I am no Turkish. I am from the kingdom of love. So this man in the 13th century, he was claiming also that it's more important to be in the kingdom of love rather than being picky and to be with losing yourself and your ego with different identities. What is important is to feel the divine and to remember every day. He said also, only from the heart you can touch the sky. We can say about the sky, we can call it nirvana, or we can call it whatever you want. Paradise, Sangrila. It's only from here, from the heart, that we can be whole. And Rumi, writing this poetry, very beautiful, with metaphors and poetic figures, he used a vocabulary with cooking as well, and it's very funny, and I like it. Or with the wine, you know, many Sufi teachers as well, you know, they made the metaphor like drinking wine, being intoxicated, to be just letting your ego go and just be one. So Rumi said, stay in the spiritual fire. Let it cook you. Okay, I repeat, stay in the spiritual fire and let it cook you. Just be cooked by the spiritual fire. Rumi, when he talks or he mentions God in his poetry, normally he calls or he said the beloved, God the beloved. Well, because I am doing workshops about the sacred feminine and the goddess, I will say goddess the beloved. So this is the way as well to talk like you are in love with God, with the goddess. You are again melted in the divine love. So there is a dirk mantra that Sufis use, and it's simply to say who. And who is the pronoun in Arab that it means he or she. Again, the creator. The creator can be female or can be male. So it's who. So we are going to do it. We are going to start going through a bit of trance and to start doing it. You can do it silently or you can do it loudly. It doesn't matter, okay? I am going to try to go to different tones. To the purpose of this is to be melted with the divine, with unconditional love. Let's go. Ooh. 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 Well, this was my personal interpretation. And we are going to continue now with the guided visualization after this third mantra. As Rumi said to the beloved, you that turns stones to gold, change me. So we are ready now for the guided visualization. Please close your eyes. Be aware of your breathing again. Focus in your third eye. Visualize it as a diamond or crystal, and we need to polish it, to cleanse it, to be ready. To be ready for this visualization, to be open, to go to another dimensions, and to receive the gifts of God, the Goddess, the beloved, to find guidance, and to be melted, intoxicated in the divine love of the cosmic universe. Visualize that you are in a beautiful garden. This garden is huge. The garden is blooming. There are so many kind of different flowers. There are fruit trees as well. There are fountains with the shape of the sacred geometry, with tiles as well, with the flower of the universe, the sacred geometry that the Sufis and Muslims knew, and we learn from them the sacred geometry and mathematics. Because we are in one of the wonders of the world, the Persian gardens. A few thousand years ago, Persia, it was just a paradise on earth, gardens, fountains, splendid palaces, architecture. And you are walking through these gardens, smelling the flowers, the essence. You can smell even the orange trees that they are blossoming. It's hot, but it's humid because of these beautiful fountains and this clear water. You have been walking per hours, so you just sit down close to a tree And you put your back close to the tree and you sit there to observe, to watch these beautiful colors of nature. The tree is big, with branches, with flowers and fruits, and you are touching it with your back. So you melt with the tree. Now the tree and you are one. You feel like your arms, they are the branches. Your body is the trunk, and the roots, your feet. You feel grounded, you feel stable. But now you are in the consciousness of the tree. You can feel how the tree absorbs the water from the roots or the energy of the sun from the leaves. You can feel that your body is becoming stronger, healthier. You are receiving from the tree the strength and to be grounded in Mother Earth. Being aware again that you are sit down there in the tree, you observe the flowers. There are like a field of lavender flowers, and you see how a bee or a bumblebee, as you wish, is feeding herself from the lavender flower. And observing this bee or this bumblebee, you become the bee, you become bumblebee. And as in Sufism, they said, Rumi said, that to be melted by love is when you can see how the bee is taking the nectar from the lavender flower, from any flower. And in that moment, you are in connection. You are in connection with nature, with a higher vibration. And you can spread, sorry, the nectar to other flowers. You are a bee, you are a bumblebee now. Fly, fly around. and flying around. You are not a bumblebee anymore. You are a white dove. The white dove is a messenger. The white dove is the Holy Spirit in Christianity. It's the symbol of peace and purity. So fly, my child, now as a white dove, spreading the message of love to the whole planet, to your friends, to your family. Still flying as a white dove, you can see the landscape from above. As you can see, like the rivers, the streams join with the rivers, and the rivers join to the sea or the ocean. And also for Sufism, when the water of the river join the water of the ocean, the divine ocean, is a moment of union. Is a moment that is melted. The water from the river is melted. So this is how we are. When we joined, we melt in the divine, in the beloved. We are becoming the divine ocean as well. So enjoy and be there in the divine ocean. And now to celebrate that you are one in the divine ocean of love, like as a dolphin there. Enjoy. Be a dolphin. Be in the waters of the ocean, playful, happy, with lots of energy, dynamic, joyful. And from the divine ocean, being in this state of grace, we are coming back to our bodies. We are becoming to ourselves, but with the experience that we have been melted in the divine love. And we are going to keep with us always that. And try to remember, as the Sufis and Rumi said, that every day do something, do a mantra, dance, sing, just to remember that you are love and embrace the divine in this life. And we are going to finish with another quote from another poem of Rumi. He said, "Goodbyes are only for those who love with their eyes, because for those who love with heart and soul, there is no such thing as separation." Rumi. Saying that, I say goodbye. See you next week, next Sunday at 12 o'clock. And if you have any suggestions or feedback, or you would like I dedicate one Sunday to a thing in particular, let me know. And I wish you the best for this week. And remember, be intoxicated in the unconditional love. This is what is important at the end of the day. That's all. So I love you all. Bye bye. Mwah.